Hello, this is a Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pangino Adriatic PQ1002-AL. Let's start with wrist check. I'm still wearing this Steinhardt Ocean 1 500-meter titanium. I really like this watch. And Grogo's wearing my Bim Bom 1727. I just reviewed this watch. If you haven't seen the review yet, be sure to check it out. Grogu said Princess Leia asked Lando Calrissian to form a team of field agents to handle assignments that 3PO calculates as having only a 1 in 5 chance of success. It's called Mission Improbable. All right, let's take a look at the watch. It says Pangino. It's a pretty nice box. This watch was supplied by Pangino. It was given to me for free. I do not have to return it. I made it very clear to Pangino I was not obligated to give the watch a positive review. But I told them, in all honesty, I'm pretty positive when it comes to these watches. I rarely give a negative review. But there it is. Isn't it nice looking? This dial is one of a kind. Every dial is going to have a unique pattern. This is the first Pangino on my channel. I had never heard of the brand, but then Pangino reached out to me and wanted to know if I wanted to review one of their watches, and they would send it to me for free. Since I can count the number of free watches I've received on my fingers, even though I started my channel 4 years ago, what else was I going to say? Pangino is an Italian-inspired company, but based in the United States of America. And inspiration is about as Italian as they get, as the company's webpage says they are not made in Italy, and the movements are Japanese. This Pangino Adriatic is inspired by the Adriatic Sea, which is the sea separating Italy from Eastern Europe, in the region that was called Yugoslavia when I was young during the Cold War. Yugoslavia was famous for making the worst car to be sold to the USA, the Yugo. The heart of this watch is not the Miota 2030 quartz movement, but instead is the organic Algae Stone Dial, which will have a unique pattern from whatever algae stone it was cut from. Although algae is not the most pleasant sounding name, this algae stone is very visually appealing, and besides making each and every watch unique, it has a bonus feature that I was not aware of that I will not reveal until near the end of this review. This watch only comes in one colorway. If you don't like the Algae Stone Dial, they do make other quartz models with integrated bracelets, such as the Urbanite or the Augustin. This watch is 42 millimeters at the case, but 40.4 millimeters if you measure at the bezel. It's 47.9 millimeters long, and it's only 9.9 millimeters thick. The leg width does not apply, but 24.3 millimeters where the bracelet meets the case and tapers down to 20 at the clasp. It weighs 142 grams on the supply solid H-link bracelet with 2 links removed. The bezel is steel and it's brushed up top, polished on the sides. Very nice looking bezel. And then we have the dial. The dial, once again, is the star of the show. It's Algae Stone. And every dial is going to look differently. Then we have the Pangino name up top. The name's not the best to see. I don't know. They probably should have left the name off and just used the logo. And then on the bottom it says Adriatic, and that's kind of hard to read also. Not very pleased with the dial writing. Then we have the indices. They're loomed. And then we have the Dauphine minute and hour hand. They're loomed. And then we have a spear tip second hand. There is no date on this watch, because then they would have had to cut a hole out of the algae stone, and that probably wouldn't have looked very good. And there's no ghost date. The 2030 doesn't have a date, so there's no ghost date. Then we have a sign push-pull crown. Crown action's fine. This is not all loosey-goosey, and when you go to set it, there's no minute hand jump. So that's not going to be an issue there. So you can set it accurately. And once again, no ghost date. Then we have the crystal. Crystal's just mineral glass. It's flat, does the job. Nothing special about it, but nothing wrong with it. Yeah, you're thinking maybe at this price they should have included sapphire, but that just would have raised the price of the watch. Then we have the case. I like the case. Case is brushed with polished chamfered edges. And it's an integrated bracelet design. And the end links actually articulate. Some watches, such as the PRX, they do not articulate, so it's nice when they do. But it's a fairly thin case, and it shapes to your wrist nice because it slopes down here and here. Then we have the case back. Case back is a screw down. It says Pangino in the middle and has the logo. It says all 316 stainless steel, Japan movement. And then it says 5 ATM water resistant, so you get 50 meters. Underneath the case back is the Miyota 2030. There's been a lot of complaints from my viewers when I did an unboxing about the 2030 being kind of a lackluster movement for a watch in this price range. But really, what else were they going to do? If they wanted to stick with quartz, you really can't get nicer than the 2030. I mean, the nicer movements they would have would be solar, and you can't do a solar movement with this Algae Stone Dial. So, I mean, yes, the 2030 is a very affordable movement, but it's a very nice movement for what you're paying for. And yeah, maybe if they would have put a Seiko VH31 there, which would tick 4 times a second, that would have been nice. But then again, you get that Seiko, then you got to change the battery every 2 years because that VH31 uses battery up because of the extra ticking. Then we have the bracelet. Bracelet's nice. It's polished. It's a true H-link, fully articulating. And once again, the end links articulate. Then we have push pins, not screw pins. I'm perfectly fine with push pins. Yes, screw pins are more premium, but push pins are just easier, and then they don't fall out on you. And I like the fact that the center links are brushed too. I don't think polished center links would have looked good. And then we have a signed butterfly clasp. Got the Pangino name and logo. And there are no half links. But the links aren't huge, so you should still be able to get a pretty good fit. But maybe not the perfect fit. Your mileage may vary. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks nice. It wears nice. Sits nice and flat on the wrist. I only removed 2 links though, so the bracelet's a little short. I'm sure though, if you need more links, you could probably ask Pangino for more links. You're not exactly dealing with their $30 AliExpress watch. So I would assume you can get more links. But no, it's got a nice wrist roll. I really like this bracelet. Here we are in the Lume room. The Pangino ad mentioned that the hands and markers were Lume, but they left out an all-important feature of this Algae Stone Dial. As we saw at the time, we see that this organic Algae Stone Dial is naturally lumed, and very well at that. The natural lume is very strong and is almost as bright as the rather strong indices. The lume of the major hands appears to be significantly weaker, but it really doesn't matter since you can still see the hands due to the still strong dial behind them. This watch would have been just fine without any hand lume, as is evident by the unlumed second hand, which is quite visible. This is excellent lume and quite usable. What I like about this watch, it looks and wears nice. I like this Algae Stone Dial. That looks great. It makes each watch unique. I also like the natural lume of this Algae Stone Dial, giving you a fully lumed dial. That's really great to see at night. And it has a true H-link bracelet that's nicely brushed. What are my gripes and groans? The bracelet's a little short, only removed 2 links. And this writing, the Pangino and the Adriatic, is kind of hard to read. And I think they would have been fine just leaving that off. Maybe just putting the logo up there and calling it good. And putting Adriatic on the case back. Do I recommend this watch? Yes. When I first unboxed this watch, I got a lot of comments saying it wasn't worth the money they were charging due to the Miyota 2030 movement. But that is really ignoring the Algae Stone Dial and its unique pattern and natural luminance. If the dial appeals to you, then you might want to consider this watch. Well, Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pangino Adriatic, and I'll be back with an unboxing or a review. I do have one watch to unbox. I'll probably do that next. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. If you like this watch, I'll leave a link to Pangino. I do not have an affiliate link with them, but as far as I know, Pangino is the only place you can buy it. And if you do buy this watch, be sure to tell them you saw it on Fun with Watches, and maybe they'll send me more watches in the future. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. I picked up another one of you. I have 7 now. And so I just reviewed the latest Members Choice watch not too long ago, and it will go live for everybody in about 4 days. And once it does, I will sell that watch, and when it sells, I will put another Members Choice watch up to vote. Bye.